Welcome and good morning to day 6 here of the Aer Lingus Kite Surf Pro 2012 Ireland. We are standing here in front of the Chalk Crohan Bed and Breakfast, which is actually run by the chairperson of Achill Tourism, hosting us here in their beautiful bed and breakfast. So we're coming to you live right from out front of where we're staying. We can see the ocean here behind us, beautiful ocean view. Looks like pretty flat seas out there again today, Ben.
Yeah, pretty similar weather that we saw yesterday. The wind actually seems like it's kicking in a little bit and perhaps will show up later this afternoon, but the swell forecasts all point to pretty flat swell for the day sky, and we just had the riders meeting happening right now, but all signs point to another lay day called today.
Yeah, so not much conditions on offer. However, I did hear the contest director and head judge talking about the forecast that they've been looking at. Looks like not big swell over the next couple of days, but looks like hopefully we're going to have contestable conditions, maybe some onshore stuff, smaller surf and strong wind, just to set us up for those later rounds heading into the weekend. The weekend is looking really good. Looks like we've got hopefully a pretty good size swell on the way. Maybe finish this thing up in great conditions.
Yeah, I know all the athletes and for sure the contest organizers and head judge are trying to look at the next few days as a potential of sort of finishing those first rounds, getting through some of those knockout rounds to set up enough time for the weekend when the conditions really look like they're going to be firing to go ahead and get into those later rounds and crown a champion here at the event.
Yeah, and it's great, heading into the weekend. We've had a couple of lay days now. Yesterday was our second consecutive lay day. Today, just heard the call is going to be actually our third consecutive lay day here in Ireland. So everyone getting a little bit antsy, but it's great to be able to look at the forecast charts and see that we do have some swell going into the weekend. Fingers crossed we're going to get great conditions again and we can finish this thing up in style.
Exactly, and coming up first will be the last heat of the men's first round, and just to recap some of the action, let's check that out.
Right now we're on the west coast of Ireland and we've been driving around looking at a few spots, and we came to this place in the middle of a pasture filled with sheep and some nice waves coming in, and hopefully the wind picks up and we'll get some contests going.
Ireland gets just some of the best waves in the world. It gets really good Atlantic swell comes in, really good waves, really strong westerly winds usually, which is really good.
You can get amazing conditions here, and like the thing about it is it doesn't stop. All year round we get conditions. It's not just winter, it's not just summer, it's constantly. You got to be Johnny on the spot and you got to know what's going on, and you got to be able to move with the conditions and get in the right spot for the day, you know.
I think it works well for Ireland because our weather is so changeable. It's being able to have it mobile and being able to move, it really creates a better atmosphere, and obviously you get the better conditions on the day.
And good morning also from me. I am standing here today with Ryan Coote. Ryan, you are probably the best known Irish kiteboarder. Everyone that comes to Ireland kind of contacts you for where to go, what best spots to ride. And it seems like you've been exploring the Irish coastline for many years. You've been kiting for a long time. Tell me, what is it that you love about the west coast of Ireland the most?
I suppose it's the amount of locations that we have, you know. It's down to different little coves and different little beaches, and I spent a lot of time travelling around the world, and everyone kept asking me what it was like in Ireland, and I didn't know, so I came home to find out what Ireland was like, you know. There's a lot of kite surfers around the world. They would do a lot of travelling, but not necessarily know their own country very well. So I'm getting to know my own country as best as I possibly can.
And it looks like you've already gotten to know it really well. Usually, I guess, we've heard that from many other Irish kiteboarders, you kite more or less on your own or with a couple other people. Now you're riding here with all the pros. It's busy on the beach. How is that for you? Would you rather keep your spots for yourself, or is it good for you to share it with all the pros?
It's good to see the level that the guys bring here, you know, and you definitely see in amongst them they push each other a lot, you know what I mean, especially when you see 3 or 4 good riders together. You can see them bouncing off each other, and like the one-upmanship is really strong there. For me, I suppose it's about, I say 90% of my riding is on my own, and that's pretty gnarly launches and lands and all that sort of stuff. So you just have to be really comfortable in yourself and just take each step slowly. You can't rush into anything, like, you know, and you see the guys launching kites upon the grass and dragging around the place and all that sort of stuff, and you can't get away with that when you're on your own, because if something goes wrong, there's no one to chase your kite, like. So I'd love to see more good riders coming here and pushing me and pushing themselves into some of the crazy waves we have here. And be it surfing or kite surfing, you know, there's such an amazing array of places for people to go here when it's flat and when it's windy and when it's swell. So it's good to see him here, I think.
That's good to hear. Well, we're glad you're happy to share, and everyone has been incredibly welcoming, so hopefully we'll see more kiters come here in the future. Yeah. It sounds like Irish kiteboarders are pretty hardcore, and you've shown that in your first heat when you actually managed to beat Padraig McLaughlin, the winner of the event on Mauritius. How did that feel?
It was good. I don't, like I think I said in an interview before, I don't really feel like you're competing with people on the waves, because like for me it's just wave riding, and so I'm going to do the exact same thing whether there's someone coming in behind me or someone coming in front of me. I'm going to hit the lip as hard as I can. I'm going to go and get as deep as I can, you know. So when there's other people there, it's really it's exciting to see other people wave riding, but I don't think, shit, I should be doing that, I should be doing that. All I'm doing is riding the wave the way I know how to ride a wave, and I'm not going to try and change that for other people. So but it was good to get second place in that heat. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed the heat as well, and for the wind to come up like that when I was out there on my own, it was magic. It was magic.
Yeah, it was actually really cool. You were out there being the guinea pig, being the first one to ride, and then in the first heat too. So it worked out really well. Congratulations on that heat, and good luck for the next one.
Thank you.
And we did have a little talk about your board here just before we went live. You got this mouth on there, the lips, not the ones of your girlfriend, but you want to tell us a little bit about them?
No, this is quite an iconic, I think it's quite an iconic rock. It comes along the same sort of era as the Rolling Stones. It would be very much, you know, Mick Jagger's lips are very predominantly in the rock sort of scene. And it's a local artist in Lahinch who's called Art Bayonne, and he does like amazing graffiti work across hotels and across nightclubs and all that sort of stuff around the place. So he did the front and the back of the board, and then the board is actually made by a local shaper in Kerry in Farm 4, and there's no stringers in them. They're super flexy. They're amazing, really, really good. And we're bringing out 3 boards, and we're going to give it a shot, see what people think of them. I would have liked to have had more to demo for this week, but I think everyone has got their own gear to ride, so it's not really a demo weekend. But yeah, it's good. I'm super happy with it.
Well, lots of Irish rippers and also Irish shapers and artists. Good to have you all here this morning. Yeah. And well, again, good luck for the rest of the contest.
Thank you.
And back to you guys at home there.
Go.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Welcome back. We just heard from local Irish ripper Ryan Coote, kind of going through his daily routine and kind of what brought him back to exploring more of the Irish coastline. Pretty awesome to hear, and again, being around the waters here in Ireland, it's pretty cool and pretty be able to listen to him and respect the guy a lot for going out and really exploring on his own out there. You know,
yeah, talking about riding all on his own and just having to rely on yourself and be confident in your own abilities out here in the cold Irish waters. And I know he spends, like he's saying, so much time exploring this coastline, and definitely knows all the spots really well. We've been talking to him a lot when it comes to making the call every day and every evening, looking at the weather forecast together with Ryan as well as a few other locals, and their knowledge is just invaluable when it comes to a mobile event like this, being able to make the right call on the day and moving a crew of 60 people around and making sure that we're going to be at the right place at the right time to get those conditions.
Yeah, and again, his local knowledge paying off in that first heat of the men's first round that we saw earlier in the week, not coming out with the victory of in the heat, but getting that second place, taking down Tour Points leader Patrick McLaughlin, and only losing to Luke McGillivray, who, as we know, has been on fire this tour so far. So I know Ryan is going to be looking to get into that double elimination round and really start to try to send some other people home, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And Ryan, of course, being an Irishman, is really comfortable in this cold water, maybe playing a little bit into his favor here, a little bit of an advantage for him on his home turf. I know a lot of the guys and girls have been having a bit of a hard time with adjusting to this cold water and putting on all that neoprene and feeling like a seal out there and not quite being able to move.
Well, we had such fantastic weather the last weekend when we got this competition underway. The sun was out, the waves were big, the wind was howling, which, as we've said before, isn't necessarily exactly what happens every day here in Ireland. So everyone was so excited that there was wind and waves and sun all at the same time. Doesn't happen as often, so it actually wasn't as cold as maybe people were anticipating. However, with the rest of the weekend and the forecast coming up in the rest of this holding period, we're about halfway through now. It looks like the temperature may drop a little bit. We'll get the conditions that are perhaps a bit more similar to what the everyday is like here. A little bit colder air temperature, not quite as much sun, a little bit more cloud cover. And
when we actually caught up with some of the riders to see their thoughts on the cold water and putting on all that neoprene. So let's check that out, and we will see you in just a second.
I come from Cape Verde. The water is so different. It's hot, You never use some neoprenes like this 5.5, and then it's a little bit different. But it's good here because the water is really freezer, For me, it's like Antarctica, but it's okay. But with this, it's good because you can stay hot on the water. And it's a little bit difficult to move, but then you take some good waves and you be hot. It's gonna be more flexible and good.
Here in Ireland, it's definitely a bit colder than where I come from. I'm wearing a 5.4 wetsuit here, so it definitely makes you a little more stiff out riding, but it's still a good feeling. It's fun to be out there. It's a different experience. I've never worn booties kiting ever. So it's definitely a new experience for me. I got these really thin boots. They're like socks almost, and they actually help grip the board better than just my feet do. So it's different for me, but it feels like I'm more stuck to the board than I'm used to. So I don't know, I kind of like riding with the booties. I've been wearing this jacket pretty much every session because it completely blocks the wind. So the main thing that cools down your wetsuit and makes you cold is the wind factor standing on the beach. So this jacket seems to help out a lot. Just shielding my body from the cold wind that comes off the ocean.
The clothes, it's different, The same in my home. I never use this maybe for diving, but for surf and kiting, never. And then you go in the water, it's not glued, and you stay all the way in these positions with your hands, And you come out, you can do this. It's not possible. Your fingers grab, you know. And then it's difficult. I use it glutes for being warm.
For me, the first couple days I got here, just standing on the beach looking at the ocean was freezing cold. I didn't even want to go in. And then finally we got a good day. The waves were really good, so I put the wetsuit on and the boots and the gloves and everything and went out, and it was really nice. Once you're actually on the water, fully suited, you're warm, so it's not really a problem being out there in a full suit because you're comfortable. But standing on the beach looking at it, it's hard to get motivated because the wind's so cold blowing in your face. I don't know. Once you're actually out there with the suit on and everything, it's wonderful.
Because we're live. Thank you very much. Yes, here I am with Kite McGowan.
Correct.
That's you want to say it once?
McGowan.
McGowan. Okay, that's very Irish, I guess.
Yeah.
Keith, you've been second in the last Irish Championships. You've been competing in the Rhino Wave Charge that Ryan, who we just saw here earlier, has actually organized a few times.
Yes.
You are from the north, from Belfast.
Yes.
Ryan is from the south.
Yeah.
Now we are in the Midwest. You just told us you only see Ryan once every 2 years. Now you're here riding with a lot of riders and seeing Ryan. How is that for you compared to your local competitions that you normally compete in?
Oh, it's amazing. Normally it's just me and 2 or 3 mates, and we just watch the swell charts and just take off for a day or two, try to get the best of it, and then come back and sit and wait for the next swell to come in. So to ride with the top guys, it's amazing to see the level and how they go more vertical and more power, and yeah, it should really bring on the level in Ireland. I can't wait to ride again with my mates and hopefully take some of that core hard riding and bring
and really show them.
Really show them, yeah.
So
and push everybody, push all my mates, and we all love pushing each other and trying to take it to the next level. And seeing these guys here, it's definitely going to help.
So now you're ready for the next Irish Championships, obviously. But you were telling us, obviously, living in the north, you are kiting on the northwest. We are here, we just mentioned that already, in the Midwest, kind of. Ryan has told us a little bit about the southwest spots already. We don't know anything about the north, though. Is it worth it coming up there?
For legal reasons, I have to say no, because there's so many secret spots. But yes, it's incredible. Huge beach breaks, slabs. Yeah, it has it all. All the wind directions covered. It's incredible up there, and it's never busy. You go up with 2 or 3 mates, you wouldn't see anybody else. Maybe a couple of windsurfers, but everybody's there's so many places. They all work in different directions. Yeah.
It just sounds like Ireland really is the dream place. I mean, wherever you go in the world, it has become rather busy. Yes. Here, everyone is telling us you kite alone or with 1 or 2 mates. Just sounds like a dream. You have the perfect waves, you have great winds. The one downfall that I think keeps people from coming here is the cold. Now we've just seen this little clip with all the wetsuit stuff that all the riders have brought to prepare themselves for the cold weather.
Yeah.
You as an Irishman, does that even matter for you with the cold?
Oh.
Or, if you are looking at traveling to a different location, to a wave spot, would you rather go and actually kite in warm water, or do you prefer kiting here in Ireland with just a couple of mates?
I like a bit of both. I feel the cold probably more than most, because I'm in the water the whole time. My core temperature gets lower, so it's not easy. You don't get used to the cold. 6mm wetsuits, hoods, vests, booties, gloves. You put on the works, But I'm seeing the traveling competitors are starting to lose a couple of layers every day as they climatize to the colder conditions. So warm waves, I love it. But just to be able to have 3 people on a wave, everybody taking a turn, no hassling, it's incredible. So it's when you go away and travel and then you come back, you realize you have it pretty good if you can hold out for the cold. But flask of tea, dress appropriately, it's all good.
And that's, I think, what everyone here has learned. You're saying that everyone's losing a layer throughout the time they are here. We saw, with all the warm iron stuff, nothing is too cold, and I think everyone would agree it's really worth it coming here and kiting in a little bit colder conditions if you have all those dream spots for yourself. So thanks a lot, Keith.
No problem, thank
you. To you also, good luck for the rest of the contest. Great to have you local guys here with us. And say hi to the people at home.
Hi, thank you.
All right, we just heard from Keith McGowan there. Great stuff from him, talking a little bit about the cold weather and climatizing here. We saw that clip of our riders talking a little bit about the neoprene they've been wearing out here. A lot of the riders here, coming actually with like a quiver of wetsuits, Ben.
Yeah.
And we heard Machu there talking about the first time he went out in the water with a 4.3, and it was just way too cold for him. And next time he went out, he had a 5.5, and he said that was much more comfortable.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, actually. We see oftentimes riders coming with lots of boards and sort of changing boards out based on condition. Even in the middle of heats, we've seen, if you've been paying attention and following us on the live stream, oftentimes somebody will come in with and change their board right away, and would have noticed something out there that they didn't quite like, or a condition that wasn't quite what they thought it was. Can't quite do that with wetsuits in the middle of your heat. However, it is pretty interesting to see and get to talk to some of the riders who aren't necessarily used to riding wetsuits. I'd say is fairly easy to sort of acclimatize to. Of course, if not being super thick, because that'll change things a bit. However, booties, gloves, hoods. I can't remember who we were talking. Perhaps Luke McGillivray, who had a hood on, needed to take it off because he couldn't actually hear the wind. And without hearing the wind and without being able to hear the waves, you kind of lose your orientation a little bit. So again, you wouldn't really know that until you went and tried it. So it's pretty interesting to see and watch these competitors as they sort of get more used to the conditions, and they try to figure out exactly the proper combination for them to be able to get out there, be warm, stay strong. And as we just heard, some of these guys starting to lose a little bit of layers as the time goes on. However, being in cold water, it sort of zaps your energy a bit. So the guys who are used to it here, like the two local riders that we heard from this morning, probably are going to be able to keep their energy a bit better throughout the week as we get into the later rounds of this competition.
Exactly, yeah, and with looking at that weather forecast, the cold weather you were mentioning coming up, looks like this weekend we might have some great conditions on offer. However, the temperature is going to be dropping significantly, so that's going to definitely play a factor into these heats as we get into the later rounds, and perhaps some of the competitors from places like Cabo Verde and places that are not used to this type of cold weather might be having a little bit of a struggle, but let's see. It'll be really interesting to see how that all plays out.
Exactly, and as we've said, our first heat on deck is going to be that Heat 8 of men's round 1 before we go straight into the first round of the women. And as usual, as soon as the call looks like it's going to be contestable conditions, we're going to start as soon as possible, be running as fast as possible to try to get set up for this weekend when the conditions look like they're going to be pretty outstanding to be able to finish this event off and crown the champion here at the third stop of the World Tour.
Absolutely. So again, today is an official lay day here for day 6 of the Air Lingus Kite Surf Pro Ireland 2012. We are here in front of our Chalk Crowhun bed and breakfast. We'd like to say a huge thanks to those guys once again, Rojan and everyone here at the bed and breakfast for hosting us.
Taking over their parking lot here out in front for the morning and broadcasting live at home to you. Big thanks to those guys, super hospitable and very welcoming.
Absolutely. So that's going to do it for our morning show here this morning, Ben. And we'll be back here with you live 10 a.m. tomorrow for the call. Hopefully we're going to run some heats tomorrow. Looks like we're going to have some wind returning and some small swell. Hopefully we can continue with that men's Heat 8 of round 1 and go straight into the ladies and set ourselves up nicely for the great swell that we're looking forward to this weekend.
Absolutely. So until then, 10 a.m. tomorrow. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the morning.